Whew. Yo, what up everybody, Arie here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing some of the implications of the iOS 14 update rollout, because it did officially roll out and it has been making a significant impact on Facebook ads. Not necessarily on the performance side of things, but on the tracking, which is honestly equally as important at this point, because if you don't know where your results are coming from, it's really hard to make educated decisions on what to spend more money on and what to not spend more money on, which is kind of like the magic of Facebook ads. It's like a little making money machine, but that machine is slowly becoming maybe a little bit obsolete. I guess we'll see. I pulled up a bunch of resources here. I even got Twitter open and I got Reese Wabara, who is the CEO of Manière d'Avoir, which is this brand right here. It's a clothing brand and they usually drive like, let's see, 1 million to 1.2 million monthly visitors, which is pretty unbelievable. They run heavy Facebook ads, and he said, rest in peace Facebook ads, we had a good run. And Lewis Morgan, who was the co-founder of Gymshark, and I think he also has a stake in Manière d'Avoir, he says, now that everyone is in the same boat, opportunity to take market share from competitors becomes even bigger. And that's facts, and that's kind of the overarching theme that I want to keep this video around. I don't want you guys to panic. I don't want you guys to think that this is the end of the world by any means. In fact, it's just kind of the beginning of a new era. As you can see, even Nick Shackelford gave his input in here, and we've reacted to some of his videos on the channel. He clearly is a huge expert on Facebook ads, and he said the more people stopping the ads, the better it is for us. So there's kind of like this double-sided sentiment out there of, some people are freaking out thinking it's all over, and then some people staying chill and not really panicking about this whole thing. As some of you may know, I have a private group called Netsphere. It's basically just a business community, but it's private. It sort of works like a Patreon, you could say. And as you can see, some people are saying Facebook reporting has gone really bad. I spend 5 to 8K daily and it's really hard to make decisions. What software should I make? And people are just, kind of freaking out about this, recommending Hyros, but saying it's too expensive. But we did come up with a solution within the group, so let me see if I can find the post actually. Okay, so this guy was really scared, and here is basically the solution. So before we go further, I kind of want to show you how to solve this through an example. This is what you'll see at the campaign levels, and as you can see, this doesn't really show any sort of website purchase conversion except for this, which is obviously not right. But when you actually click your campaigns, it'll actually take you to the ad sets, and at the ad set level, it'll show you your cost per purchase and your actual website purchase conversion. So like I said, the tracking is just all messed up. Like, it doesn't really show things properly. Facebook's UI is just all broken right now and glitchy, but it's not actually not tracking. So as you can see, we're still getting a really good ROAS on here. And if we go to another campaign, it's kind of the same deal. It doesn't show you it at the campaign level, but when you go to the ad sets, it shows you all of the actual website purchase ROAS. And what you can do actually is if you go here to customize columns, there's this new tab that says compare attributions, and what you can do in this tab is simply click 7-day click, and apparently that's like the attribution that Facebook is using now natively or something like that. Don't quote me on that, okay? I'm actually not a Facebook ads expert. I only run Facebook ads for my brands. I've never had like a Facebook ad agency or anything. I'm not an expert, and that's why we watch videos from like Nick and stuff like that. But once you click that, this updates and it actually shows us that our correct ROAS. It's still honestly very confusing for me. I've been watching this video that somebody posted in Netsphere that kind of talks about how there's really no chance of Facebook ads going down or anything. Like, this has all just been blown out of proportion. But I will say that while I did think the same thing, this change was definitely a little concerning, and especially with people tweeting like, oh my god, things are going down, it's going down, Facebook is over, etc., etc. But honestly, people always are drawn to negativity, so the bad news always gets spread way quicker than the good news. But this guy basically talks about exactly what's going on now. Like, he says that honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, conversions will still get tracked, purchases will still get tracked, some of the tracking may be off here and there, but at the end of the day, it still works. And that is what I'm seeing also. So I'm definitely at ease now a lot more. When I first saw this, I was like, what? I spent like 1,000 with 0 sales? That's crazy. But clearly that wasn't the case. It was just bad reporting on Facebook's end. And if we just read this thread basically from Reese, we can see other people talking about some things that I think are actually important to think about, and some things I want to leave you off with once this video is over, which is, TikTok for younger audience is still underpriced, YouTube pre-roll, Instagram influencers if you can find a decent one that represents your brand, or with the hardcore audience you have concentrated on them and get repeat business. I'm a repeat customer, so this guy's a repeat customer of this guy, which is super cool. And this is something I think is so true. I think it's really important to look for other avenues and just get creative and just be as creative as you can with your business, whether it's dropshipping, whether it's an agency, whatever it is. Just try to be creative and don't rely on just one thing. But of course, as you can see, everybody's literally freaking out about this. This is just kind of crazy, but I really don't think that this is something to freak out about a ton. As I said, I mean, it is going to cause some issues, but there's just no way that Facebook is going to let this ruin their company. Facebook is a massive multi-billion-dollar business, on its way to becoming $1 trillion business in the future maybe. So I'm not sure that this is the beginning of the end, even though I've said things like that in the past. I mean, I do think that this is the beginning of a new era, so I guess it could be the beginning of the end, but I think they'll figure it out. And I'm not a huge fan of Facebook as a company, but I do love to use their ad platform. But regardless, rest assured, I'm gonna be doing my best to continue to expand my brand through organic means and just other avenues aside from Facebook. And I recommend that some of you guys do the same. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do have a lot of experience in this. And I think, this is a big wake-up call to just not focus all of our energy into Facebook ads. We're a community here together, so I'm just basically telling you what I'm learning from this experience as I go, but I would really appreciate it if you would let me know sort of what steps you're taking or what your thoughts are on this, because I'm extremely curious, and who knows, it could help other people out, it could help me out. It would just be really cool to see you guys comment your opinions. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I don't know exactly where this is gonna lead, and I guess we'll just have to see exactly what Facebook continues to do to support small businesses, as they said, because they made that big response to Apple saying, this update is gonna kill small businesses. What's wrong with you guys? You're trying to kill small businesses. So I guess we will see. I'm not sure exactly where this is gonna lead, as I said, but I think in the end, if you're building a business, whatever it is, you'll be okay over time. These are just hurdles that we have to get through, but trust me, this decade is the age of entrepreneurs, and especially with this whole pandemic, people just absolutely love supporting small businesses. So just build your small business. Don't worry too much about these little details like advertising platforms. I mean, I would be way more concerned if I was running a Facebook ad agency or something, right? Because all of your clients literally depend on you for Facebook ads, and all this stuff is happening. So definitely glad that I'm not dealing with that. But even then, there are solutions. Like I said, you can still look at your conversions through just a different attribution window. And I know that this probably sounds super confusing for some of you guys that don't have a lot of experience with Facebook ads. But as you can see, people are definitely using this whole thing as clickbait. I mean, including myself a little bit, but I have good intentions. I don't want you guys to be freaking out about this. There's many videos on this topic and not a ton of clarification. Unfortunately, Facebook's not really saying much right now. I've been kind of looking to see if they're gonna give any sort of response, if they're gonna address this issue at all, and I haven't really seen anything from them. So that kind of says a lot about them. It's their customer service has always been bad, and I guess they just continue that trend now with these big issues. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I want to leave you off with this quote as well. It's by Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds of all time, basically. And he said, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." And I believe we're all intelligent people here on this channel, and we'll all be able to swiftly adapt to whatever changes come our way. And honestly, the good news is that this change, while it is a little bit awkward right now, I don't see it making a huge difference on Facebook ads anytime soon. Maybe in the long term, as we've said a billion times about, this being the beginning of the end or the beginning of a new era. A lot of the negativity out there is not really based on Facebook ads actually being over or dead. It's just basically on the sentiment that they could potentially die in the future. So just don't be worried right now and just work on your business as much as you can. But we'll see where this leads and when they're gonna fix this or what things are gonna get fixed. So I guess we'll see. I'm really curious what you guys think though. So please let me know in the comments. And yes, I'm gonna continue to update you guys on any news that I hear, any sort of solutions that I get, because I don't want you guys to be left in the dark like Facebook's leaving everybody in the dark. That was the point of having this community for me, is just to have a voice and to be able to help people out and spread good vibes, of course, through whatever means. So with that said, I really hope that this helped you out in some way. If it did, make sure you drop a like on the video so the YouTube algorithm can respect my content a little more. and leave me your opinion. I would love to see what you have to say. I'll be live streaming maybe on the weekends now, like Saturday or Sunday, or maybe both even. So if you want to watch me live and come hang out with me, it would be really dope if you join the lives. They're here on YouTube. Obviously, I don't charge for it or anything. It's just a good vibe and a good way to like engage with you guys. I've always wanted to do some sort of meetup in the future or something, but obviously with COVID it's not possible, so doing these live streams are kind of a good way to do that, and just share ideas. It's really fun. I genuinely love it. We've been having a really great time on the live streams, playing Minecraft and just answering questions, watching videos. It's just a good vibe. So with that said, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Peace.